Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Spiritual Grind. We hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to follow, hit the little bell for your notifications when the podcast is posted, and like, follow, and share with your friends. We hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment if there's any topics that you want us to speak about.
Like, follow, share.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jenny. Welcome back to the Spiritual Grind. We are here today having a little fun. Went to casino yesterday.
Good morning.
Oh yeah, hang on. Dr. Jenny, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Jenny to the studio.
What is that?
Sorry, it was funny. I thought it was funny.
Proper introduction.
Yes, sorry, my queen. I apologize that I did not properly introduce you.
Off with his head.
Oh no, help me.
Yeah, we went to the casino yesterday.
We did.
What was that about?
Discovery. Some old stuff.
Indeed. I think it's, you know what? It's a good example.
Yes, I agree.
Of what people would consider the craziness of how we go through our journey.
Yeah.
So start us off with that story.
So yesterday morning I wake up and I have this inkling just to go to the casino. And that never happens to me. It's like very rare. And so I was like, you know what? Hey, what do you think? Let's go to the casino today. And she's like, okay.
Follow the breadcrumb man.
And so I was like, we go to I don't even know what's drawing me there, to be honest with you. Don't have any clue. I just know that once we get there, we parked on Lucky Street.
Lucky Street.
And we just happened to park in 2C. We were there 2C.
Yeah.
Why we were there.
Yeah, because we got out of the car and we always look to see where we're parked so we can find ourselves again.
Yeah.
Find our car. And we get out and yeah.
It was in 2C.
2C.
Yeah. And we don't mean WA 2C. We mean like 2C why we were there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And so we walk in and we walk through one little part of the casino, and I told Jenny to follow her instinct, and she leads us across the casino right to the bathroom because she had to pee.
That's right. I was like, okay, follow me. And
I'm getting drawn.
I was drawn. Looking for a machine. But what was obviously screaming much louder was my bladder because I took us right to the bathroom. Yeah, and I did need to go tinkle, but I was trying to ignore it. Yeah. And I was like,
anyway,
not going to happen. I was like, oops, sorry, my bad. Let's stop here.
So we go to the bathroom and then we continue on. We go downstairs to the second floor and to the casino. It's like the second largest part of the casino. And I think I had like $50 in cash in my wallet.
Yeah, I had probably like 25 maybe.
Yeah. And we go to this one machine and we put $40 in it and lost it.
Yeah.
And then Jenny jumped over there with her $20. And you got it up, right? Like $80?
No, you played the one where the little buckets fill up.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, you played that one first.
Yeah, I played that one first.
And that paid out.
It did. I doubled my money, actually.
Yeah.
And then I go to the ATM. I got some cash at the ATM, and we continue on. And I go over to... Oh, yeah, that's when I did it. I went over to the Rags to Riches.
At this point, we kind of separated. We often, when we go in there, we'll kind of go our own way so we can kind of do our own thing.
But still in the back of my mind, I was wondering why am I inkling to go to the casino? And so I sat down at the Rag to Riches, and I put a $100 bill in it and cashed out with $356 on a dollar machine.
Right, yeah.
And I get up and I put my money back in my wallet that I started with, And then I went over to a quarter machine, and Jenny and I were walking, and then suddenly she disappears. I have no idea where she goes. And I go to a quarter machine, and I put a $100 bill in it, and it's paying me. It's like every spin I'm winning something.
Yeah.
And then I got my $100 turned into $285, and then I had this weird inkling to go find Jenny, and so I cashed out. I don't know why I did. But anyway, so that brings us to what you did.
Yeah, so on my journey, I was like, okay, let me check in with my own energy. Let me see what my frequency is. Am I aligned with the reality of being able to just walk to a machine, put my money in, my $100 bill, and first spin, double my money? Like, that's what I was playing with.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of checked in with it. I was like, yeah, I'm ready. So I turned to the machine, whatever it was, because I was like, the conversation I was having is, it doesn't matter the machine. The machine doesn't matter. Because I usually, before yesterday, I would go in and I would look for signs, as our previous podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the sign? And when I saw something that kind of like rang my bell, I'd go play that machine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I interpreted that as, okay, this is the one that's going to pay out based on some sort of sign that resonated with me. What happened yesterday was, what I got was, it's not about necessarily always the signs. It's about getting you to check in with your vibrational frequency of the thing that you want.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter the machine. It doesn't matter the numbers. Sometimes it just that doesn't matter. So it was, for me, now that I've had time to look at it, was an opportunity to practice checking in with my frequency and where am I at vibrationally. Anyway, I digress. Sat down at a machine. It was called Stinkin' Rich, and it had a picture of a skunk.
Stinkin' Rich.
I said, all right, show me the Stinkin' Rich. Put my $100 bill in. One spin, bada bing, and my 100 changed into 215. So I was like, thank you very much, cash out. And I walked off, took my voucher, traded it in for the cash, set my 115 aside, and took my little $100 and went again to kind of see, can I find that frequency again?
Right.
And so first machine, I pop it in, and what I noticed, though, is that I went back to my habit of looking for machines that had a sign rather than actually looking into what frequency am I in.
Yeah.
So then when I lost all of that 20, I was like, okay, so let's begin again. Anyway, long story short, in that experiment, I ended up giving all of that 100 back, and then I was like, okay, I'm done.
Right. And so I continue on wondering why I got up from that machine that was paying me, looking for Jenny. I have no idea why I did. And it was kind of weird. So I go over to the Price is Right machine.
Price is Right.
And I put a $100 bill in it. And there was a dollar machine. I max bet. And the very first spin, I got to roll the wheel.
Yeah.
Very first spin.
Right.
And it hit on $85, which was right next to the max jackpot.
Nice.
Which, by the way, the max jackpot was $39,000.
Nice.
And it paid, so I made $85. I was up $85 out there, and I spun it again. Nothing. Spun it on the third time. Hit the wheel again.
Okay.
And so I spin the wheel, and it goes to the other side
of the
max
price,
to the $70 or $90 one. So now I was up 90. And I was sitting there thinking, what do I do now? Because I'm really not a slot player. I'm a card player. I don't know why I was playing slots. Well, this is part of our discovery this morning. But
right. Some of this information didn't come to us until we had an opportunity for things to kind of marinate overnight.
Yeah, why
we'll
I'm there, why I'm looking for Jenny, why did I get it from a machine that was paying me? And
what beliefs come up out of it.
Yeah. And so I sit there and I was like, you know what? I'm going to max bet this thing and see if it hits it. And of course, I went through my winnings and got to 100 and $13, I think, down to 113, and it hit the wheel again. And I hit the spin button, and it hit $10. I was like, oh, so you're going to play that game.
$10.
I was max betting 13, and the wheel gave me $10. And so I cash out, and I walk away, and this whole time I'm being drawn to the baccarat table, but I'm not going.
Okay.
I'm like, go play baccarat. Go play baccarat. I love baccarat, by the way. It's fun. And anyway, so I continue on, and then Jenny's over there playing this cash wheel thing, where it's kind of like roulette, but it's like a big cash wheel.
Yeah, like you pick your number and they spin the wheel for you and you put money down.
Yeah.
And hedge your bets on it landing on one of the numbers that you pick.
Yeah, it's kind of like craps and roulette combined.
Yeah.
Just on the cash, though.
Yeah, it's kind of just... And the guy, I felt sorry for him because he was standing there.
Yeah.
And nobody was playing. All the people were passing him over and he looked bored. So I was like, okay, let me go over and just see what this is about. So I went over and I was like, what is this game? He's like, you just put your money on the number and we spin the wheel, see if you win.
Interesting side note. Did you see that sign that was to the left of him that said that this is not an approved Florida Gaming Commission game? It has been developed by the Hard Rock Casino.
No.
And so all complaints and whatever has to be waged through the Gaming Commission, because it is not an approved game.
Oh, no, I didn't see that sign.
And so I was reading it afterwards as we walked off. I was like, we get done with that and we walk over and we sit down on one of our old favorite games that we play together. But this whole time I'm being drawn to baccarat and I'm not going to play. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
And so we get done. We're up like, I don't know, $145, what I don't even remember what it was. So we were there for like 3 hours. And we get done and we're walking out to the truck, and I'm still puzzled to why I went.
Why we were drawn to go.
Why did I have to get up from that machine that was paying me quite well? And why, what was going on? Why didn't I go play baccarat?
Right. And so the process for you was, at this point, you're just asking the questions.
Yeah.
Waiting for the information to come.
Correct.
Not being aggravated, annoyed,
not at all.
frustrated.
No, I had a good time. It was fun.
Not being confused necessarily, but just asking the questions for additional information.
Correct.
And clarification.
Yes.
Because going there didn't instantaneously give you what you were there for.
Correct.
That's what I'm sharing with the audience.
That's right.
Where I'm wanting to take us. Sometimes, and just to remind everybody, we didn't get up that morning and say, oh, you know what? We're going to go do XYZ and then go to the lottery house.
No,
What's it called?
We went somewhere. Oh, we went to get a haircut.
No.
Yeah, I went to get a haircut.
Well, I went to the dentist first that morning.
Yeah, that's right. And it was at the dentist, right? I said, hey, let's go to the casino.
Right. And so it was like just going with the flow.
Yes.
He had an inspiration to go to the casino. And I mean, it wasn't on my agenda necessarily. And I could have been like, oh, I don't want to go. But that's not how we live life.
Correct.
We
go with the flow.
Change the plans if we have any, and we go with that inspirational place.
Because we did have plans.
Because we had a hair appointment and a lash appointment at 2. And so I said to him, I said, well, are you thinking like go now? Or are you thinking go after our appointments? Or what are you thinking? He's like, no, you know what? I think go now. So we ran by the house. I got my little
got our cards,
fanny pouch, and our driver's license. And
oh, yeah, that's right. We couldn't find our cards. So then we head over. And yeah, and
we
so
left not knowing the answers to some of those questions.
It was pretty crazy.
Not knowing why we were actually there. It took us marinating overnight, and
yeah, well, that and you brought me messages from a friend, and from an old friend of mine.
Give the next part of the story.
And so Jenny, she's like, I don't remember where you. Oh yeah, you went when we got the haircut.
I went to my lash appointment,
and she came back with messages from a friend of mine. And I don't know if he's deceased or if he's alive, and he was just astral projecting or whatever it was. But the backstory behind it was, me and 4 friends used to go to the casino a lot together.
I call him Eggs.
And
that's another story.
yeah, that's another story. And we would go to the casino, and there was this one time that nobody could afford to go, and so I gave everybody money to go. And we go to the casino.
So before you tell the story, tell them what I came back and said.
I don't even remember what all you said.
Well, so you were getting a haircut. I drove over to the lash appointment, which was on the wrong day, by the way.
So even the plans we thought we had, we didn't really have.
Right. But if I hadn't had gone to an erroneous lash appointment, I wouldn't have seen this big, huge sign that said eggs on it.
Yeah.
Because the minute I saw that sign that said eggs, his essence, whether he's celestial or, like James said, just astral projecting to bring a message through that James could relate to, he came through, giving me a visual of what he looks like for validation for me and James, and then came through with information. So I text James and I said, yeah, lash appointment, wrong day. I'll be back in a minute. I'm headed back your way.
I was in the barber chair getting a haircut.
So he's like, okay, I'll see you in a minute. We come back together and I'm like, yeah, so Eggs is reaching out to me. And he said,
yeah, I said his name.
remember me in the casino.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what that means. It means something to you. So you're going to have to check in with your journey and your adventures with him in the casino, because he's bringing through a message of remember what he said. Remember him in the casino.
And so I'm running through in my head after she says that with all these stories, because we all went to the casino a lot. It was probably once or twice a month that we would go. So I went through all these scenarios in my head, and there was this one time that the five of us took about 50 grand with us to spend, and we ended up being up a ton of money before it was over with. But he was one of them that used to say, just do it, man. Just do it. He was that guy, he was that guy that you see in the background that's kind of clownish, but he had a very deep spiritual connection. He was very energetically inclined, and his son was too. His son was like crazy.
Yeah.
Good, crazy spiritually connected. And
just following that intuitional gut feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's a story was when I was at the casino one time, I was going through all these stories in my head. The one that I woke up with was I was at a slot machine in a very well-known casino. I'm not going to say any names. And he kept saying to me, max it, just do it, follow the energy. He's like, blah, 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 going on behind me. And so it leads to this morning, us discussing this.
Right.
Of, realizing that I was there because I had a fear of losing money.
Yeah.
And he would, because if you go to the casino with a fear of losing money, you're going to lose money.
Well, not following your intuition.
Yeah. And
what you had said is
I didn't go to play
was
Baccarat.
Interrupting your intuitive guidance of
Correct.
Going and playing a different game, or even inhibiting your own self by sitting at the machine and continuing on.
Right.
Because you had a fear of
Losing
and losing your money.
And I was using going to find Jenny as a human excuse.
Oh, I see.
And so the part about it is I'm always a loner at the casino. Like we would all go as friends and we would meet back later at the bar. And anytime I've ever went, if I go with anybody, I just kind of go off on myself. But I wasn't doing that for some reason, not listening to myself. And it was because I had a fear of losing. And I don't know why. I mean, we can spend more money than that every weekend. And so I don't know why I had this fear. And I'm still trying to identify that. I'm working on it.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. Did you lose a bunch of money one time or something
No.
at the casino?
I've never lost a bunch of
created
money
it.
because I never allowed myself to lose a bunch of money.
Right. Did somebody that was prominent in your upbringing
No.
have a problem with it or lose?
Nobody in my upbringing had any money to go casino. So
I don't know.
And it was I remember going to the casino right after I turned 18, and me and my family members that had went had lost a ton, and we actually had to leave early because we were out of money.
Oh,
We had just no money to drive home. But here's the crazy part: is back then in Vegas, all the grocery stores had slot machines in them too. They might still to this day. I don't know, but because we had just enough money for gas, a loaf of bread, bologna, and a 2-liter of Pepsi, and some mustard. And we had
when
bought
you
that.
say family, this was like your mom, your dad, and
Well, there's a couple people involved. Yeah, I don't want to put them on front.
I see.
But when they were cashing out, my family member reached in his pocket to pay for the products at the grocery store and found a $1 coin. And back then in Vegas, you could use $1 coins anywhere. That was, that was back in the early 90s.
Right.
You could cross play coins.
Oh, I see.
And because they would cash each other's out and do that back then in the day, at least some of them. And so he walks up and he puts the $1 coin in the slot machine, pulls the handle, and walks off and hits the jackpot.
Oh, wow.
And it started ringing the bells. Blah, 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 and next thing you know, we end up staying for another 7 days. And so even then, when we lost money, it wasn't, it didn't work. It didn't create any fears.
It didn't create underlying of losing money and having to be that close to being uncomfortable?
No, I don't think so. It didn't bother me then. I was young. I mean, we were going to eat bologna sandwiches and drink Pepsi. That was it. I mean, at the time, it was like a 18-hour, 19-hour car ride home.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to eat bologna sandwiches for one day. Who cares?
Maybe it's entangled with society's perspective of gambling or
maybe. I don't know. I'm still checking into it.
Yeah.
But the whole part of it is following those signs, like we talked about in our last podcast or podcast before last, is being open and receptive to learn and expand, and being able to change your vibration and allow yourself to follow your intuition in those spots of fear. And I had this fear of losing money. When who cares?
Which you hadn't identified before.
I hadn't identified, right, until this morning. And I'm still not done with all this. I'm still checking in with all of it.
Yeah, right. And so for me, what came up was I have a fear that if you and I gamble past a certain amount of money or win a certain amount of money, any winnings over that, we will become addicted to it and gamble our life away, our life savings away. And that's the fear that I was holding on to underneath that I didn't realize was even there.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about it is that belief, I think for me, comes from my father and his perspective of gambling. He's very conservative. He would go in, he would give himself a set amount. He would, with that set amount, he may play the dollar machine, but he wouldn't go past that set amount. Either he won or he didn't. But regardless, even if he was winning, if he said, you know what, I've set aside $500. I'm going in here. I'm spending $500, period.
Yeah.
Even if he was winning, he would not go past that certain amount because he would do kind of like you and I did that yesterday. Win, take the winnings, set the winnings aside, and pay back the initial investment basically.
Yeah.
And then continue to play on that.
Yeah.
So it was like he would set the money aside and not touch it, and it was like it didn't exist.
Yeah.
So if he lost the new investment, so to speak, of $500, even if he was winning and setting it aside, he wasn't registering that he was winning. He was just looking at it from okay, well, my $500 is gone.
Yeah.
And so I'm done. And so my entanglement came from him and from society's viewpoint on addiction to gambling and gambling your money away and becoming poor and destitute because you gamble it all away. That's what came up for me.
Yeah.
And I find it comical because neither one of us we've always restricted ourselves.
Yeah.
So we've never gone in and even really
we don't
gamble.
go to the casino very much at all. But
what I consider a crap ton of money. We always give ourselves, like a $100, $200. We take
limit.
this, $200 or $300, whatever, very minuscule limit out of the bank. And when it's gone, it's gone. When we're done, we're done.
Right.
So it's not ever like we've gone out and just dumped hundreds of thousands of dollars in it. So for me to have a belief that, oh my God, if either one of us spends whatever that amount of money is that I had to find, and I don't even know what it is at this point, then we're going to be addicts and we're going to gamble our life away and we're going to be destitute and not have anything. And so I would find myself, as I go back and look at yesterday for myself, I would sit down at a machine, and if it didn't pay me in a couple of spins, I could feel the tension raise in my body and kind of cringe on wanting to push the button again. And so I would just cash out.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, nope, this machine's not the machine. And it was me trying to link up with the energy of the winning machine rather than trying to link up with the frequency of the reality that exists of me winning.
Right.
And so I was going about it kind of ass backwards, but that's what popped up for me. So very interesting, very, very interesting. And that's kind of how our journey works.
There's part of that, I was watching, there's a guy, because you know how your phone listens to you. And I guess because we were at the casino yesterday, everything in my feed this morning was about casinos.
Yeah.
And when I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, and this guy named, I can't remember his name, he's a very well-known professional gambler. And he said his advice to any and all slot machine players, that in your first hour in the casino, put enough money in the machine to max bet the first 5 spins on the machine in your first hour. Because the casino set it up for you to win big, or to win in your first hours when you get there, because they know if they tease you with that, you'll continue to stay and spend more money. It's like a bait and switch type thing. Yeah, you're going to do this and you win that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And he said, if it don't pay you in the first 5 spins, then get up and walk away, because that machine is not going to pay you. And he said 92% of the time, that's how they work. That's what he said. Now, who knows if that's true? But the part of it that I thought resonated with me is we were kind of doing that, and subconsciously doing it, and not realizing that we were doing it. And it's crazy because we both kind of stopped winning after like the first hour. It slowed way down.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I put my money in, I literally said out loud, when I put my money in and I turned $100 into $215 on one spin, I was like, okay, I did my part. I doubled my money. I'm done.
Right.
And so I tried to realign with the frequency, and, I lost 20 and gave it back. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. I can't find it again today. And that's okay. So there's a guy that popped up this morning too on kind of the same scenario. He was an attorney. For me, that stuff doesn't resonate with me.
No, it doesn't resonate with me, but I thought this was a good story because it's kind of cool of him following his spiritual guidance. He was an attorney in California, and he came to Vegas one weekend with 3 of his friends, and they walk in there, and he says out loud to these guys, I'm going to turn this $100 into $200,000 in the next year.
Oh, he gave himself a whole year to do it.
Yeah.
Wow,
and
that's a long time.
He started with the $100 bill. He walked in, and this is all I went through and watched. And over the course of the last 7 months, he takes that money. Like, he walks into the casino the first day, because he's videoing all of this. He puts $100 on black on the roulette, doubles his money. Quits with that money, and then he goes and gambles about his way, and he's put this money back. The next time he comes in, he put $100 on black, and it doubled up and win. So he's sitting at $300 in this pile, and he is actually up to $112,000 just by doing things like that, going to the craps table and putting $1,000 on the pass line, and just waiting for it to win. And he's been doing that now, and he's like 9 months in, and he's over $100,000, and just keeping that money off to the side. And he's got like 800,000 followers now because he posts a video. He goes down there every weekend just to do this video and spend a couple hours there. And it was interesting, how he's doing it, because he's just not playing the same game every time, and he's not bidding all the money at the same time. He's not like doubling up every single time. He just follows his energetic path. Because you see him in the video, he's like, okay, so what am I going to play today? No, blackjack don't feel good. Roulette, no, or the slot machine. He walks through the slots, and on the last video I watched of him this morning, he had walked up to the 3-card poker table, and he puts down the ante, and they deal him double aces, a pair of aces, and then the video cuts off, says to be continued, because that's a big payout on that table, and so now he's got to bet and hope that he don't match the house. But make it long story short, it's interesting how he's following his spiritual journey, setting an intention and going and doing it.
Yeah,
it was pretty impressive to me.
I mean, that's kind of the direction I wanted to take this experience that we had yesterday. Is no matter how cuckoo brain it sounds, just following your breadcrumbs,
because we humanly
allowing it to be okay for your daily journey to change and look different, because you're following some harebrained inspiration that you get.
And clearing history.
Just go follow it and see what happens.
See what happens, yep.
Just because.
So,
and that's how we do life. That's how we do life all the time.
Right.
We just have harebrained idea
and we just run with it.
We just go with it.
Why not?
Like sometimes I'll come to him and I'll say, listen, I don't really know why, but I need to go to this store. And we go there. It's not that I really need to buy anything from that store. We walk around for a little bit, and maybe a book will fall off the shelf, or
like that Target time, like we did that at Target, and that dude, and we're like outside at Target by the car waiting, trying to figure out why we just did that. And this random homeless guy walks up to us and says, I don't know what you're doing, or he says something like, keep doing it, or something. Right. And so we were like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how you follow the journey in the little breadcrumbs.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the more realistic part of this for me that really hit home this morning as I was thinking about all of it was the fact of we are open enough for me to come to you and say, listen, I need to go to the casino today.
I got this harebrained idea. I need to go do this.
And it made me very appreciative. I even said that yesterday morning. I'm like, I love our relationship because I can say stuff like that to you, and there is no emotions involved.
There's no kickback or any.
No, I really
resistance.
Enjoy it, but being able to work through those little breadcrumbs of old beliefs and baggage is a key to living that fulfilled, energetic life, I think. And when we allow each other to do that, it can put you in some weird stories. But it's really fun.
It is fun. It is. And that's another part of all of it is instead of, because I could have very well been like, oh, all right, here we go again, begrudgingly go. Yeah. And that would have closed me off to having an opportunity to
double your money.
Believe, not clear beliefs that were layered up on my side of things. Because it was not what I had planned on my to-do list necessarily, and I'm just.
It wasn't even on mine either.
But instead, we don't go about it that way.
Right.
If one or both of us comes to each other and has a breadcrumb that we want to follow, I mean, we grab hands and we say a lot. You and me, kid. Here we go.
Skip to the loo.
And let's see where it takes us because of that. That curiosity. Wonderment of where's this going to take us and
what's going to happen next.
Right.
You just never know. Because when you don't allow yourself to finish those beliefs and stuff, who knows what could happen or what. And if you do follow them, like you just never know. We could have walked in there and put $1 in a dollar machine and won $100 million. Or
Well,
you could
but
have met
even
somebody
still-
that could have changed your life. You just don't know.
I mean, it was life-changing
It is
because
life-changing. I
we
agree.
had the opportunity to open up resistance to hidden beliefs that we didn't realize were even in there.
Agreed.
And now we're forever changed because of that.
Forever
Because the process works like
changed.
this, just to recap. When you have a belief in place, once you are aware of it and you are done with it, or you decide that you're ready to rescript that belief or let it go, it's automatic. Like it happens automatically. And so now having done that, we have actually increased our money container because we no longer have beliefs that are keeping that container small and not allowing it to have room by these beliefs around gambling,
Yeah.
which includes all forms, scratch tickets, lottery.
Yeah.
Because I win a lot of lottery, but it's only tiny amounts. It may be $10 here, maybe only $100. Like that one time I won $500.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to repeat that. And I'm like, why is
Well, you
that?
just won
What is
70
going-
last weekend.
I did, but I can't seem to get past that threshold of 500.
Mm-hmm.
And I always use the lottery to kind of play with. And I was like, and sometimes we do that. We play with different things just to see if beliefs will pop up.
Right.
And I can't ever seem to get to anything bigger than 500. And so I'm always kind of digging around in that. And by doing this random adventure and having no insistence on what it must look like,
Right.
and no assumption of what it must look like, just being completely open to, if I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. If I go in there just to have a cup of coffee, if I gamble at all, like I'm just open to whatever this storyline ends up being,
Right.
whether it be for me or for him. And I had no expectation and no insistence on what this must look like.
Right.
I didn't go in there saying, all right, I'm going in there, I'm going to win X amount of dollars, and I must, or at least if I don't, it's a ruined trip.
Well,
and I'm going to be aggravated.
Right. You're creating a limit too when you do that.
Right.
People don't understand. Oh, I've got to win at least $1,000. Well, if you align with it, you're going to win $1,000. But you had just capped off what you're going to win with an intention.
Yeah. It could have been a whole lot more than that.
Oh yeah, it could.
Or-
most of the time it will.
You could very well not win anything.
That's right.
Depending on what
Because
that
the
is.
universe says, if you're going to cap me, I'm not going to give you nothing.
And I didn't walk away with the huffy puffy frustration of, I only won $115. Woe is me, gripe, grumble, and gruff. Like it was still this fun, childlike exploration of, okay, I'm interested and excited to see what this brings up,
Right.
even if I got to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. It's a fun world to live in.
Yeah.
And
Because for me, one of the other fun components of it was I love whenever dead people or essence of people, when they astral project, come through. I like to do that.
yeah.
And so when eggs came through, however, because we haven't been able to find any evidence that
That
he's
he's dead or alive
actually
or-
dead. So what can happen sometimes is people, higher self will use the essence of certain people
Right.
in our path to get us to resonate with an experience, to open up your frequency to be able to see the message coming through.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
The crazy part about that is how accurate you are, because he was saying he used to always use the word bro. He'd be like,
Yeah.
come on, bro. Everything was bro.
Right.
Bro, what are you doing, bro?
Right.
And that's how you were saying it. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Because
I've never even seen him, and I was explaining to you
yeah, and you described him to a T.
visually how he was coming across, so you would know who I was talking about.
Tall, skinny, beard. Yeah, dark hair.
Yeah.
And he had dark, wavy hair. He kind of kept it all slicked back like Elvis. And he had a beard. And he's a real cool guy. He always was in my book because of the way he lived.
Well,
Man, we were good friends.
I mean, we don't know for sure that he's
Oh, I don't have no idea.
Non-physical, but
I mean, I do know that one of my 5 friends that we would all go, I'd go with, one of them did die the year before last, and he died in a weird situation, but it would surprise me that he is dead.
It would
completely surprise me.
If he is dead.
If he is dead.
Because, you would be surprised.
Yeah, he is a religious guy that stays healthy. He eats well. He's that kind of guy to where he's always, like, he's a jogger, a bicycler. He
Except for when he goes and is on his binge smoke.
Yeah, him and his wife would go on vacation once a week. Or they would go on for a week vacation somewhere normally 4 to 6 months, and they would stay freaking high for a week while they were gone and do crazy stuff and then come back and be sober. But anyway, that's why I'm not naming any names. But he always lived a very healthy, happy life.
But that brings up a rabbit hole thing, is just because you live a healthy, happy life doesn't mean that you aren't, you create an exit plan.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you have to be sick and old and decrepit to exit.
That's correct.
The planet.
Yep.
You can be perfectly healthy and fine. And when your exit plan time comes,
it's your turn.
You're getting
time to clock out.
You're getting sucked off this planet.
But I think to kind of finish up this podcast I think the main part of all of this is for people to remember is being open to, if you're in a partnership or relationship or whatever it is, be open to the other person. Because that's a very good feeling that I had yesterday when I could openly say that to Jenny and be like, listen, I know we got plans to do things, but I'm having this inkling to go to the casino. I don't know why. I have no clue why. But she was like, okay. It's just, okay, let's go.
Change gears. I go get my casino fanny pack on. Get a jacket. Here we go. And the reason for me on my side of it is that I know that one of two things. Here's what I know. A, along your journey, I will learn something about myself and about you.
Right.
And B, your inkling may be for me.
Yes.
It may be for me. And I just can't, I'm not in a place on the particular topic that I can hear directly from my higher self. So my higher self is using you as the vehicle of information.
Yeah, and vice versa.
And you never know that.
Yeah.
And so by being open and receptive to go on the journey, it could be that journey was solely and totally, completely my higher self taking me on a journey.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that this one was a journey for you and a journey for me, separate and apart from.
Yeah.
And then together, because I kind of looped it all together of, oh my God, we're both going to go in here. We're going to spend our life savings and we're going to become addicts and have to.
Oh my God. 1-800 gambler.
Broken, destitute. And so that's why I would, recommend it. If your spouse comes to you,
oh yeah, totally,
or your mate, or your significant other, or your best friend, or whatever, and says, "Come on, we got to go do this." Go with the flow, because you never know what the message is in it for you.
Never know.
And your higher self may be working through that person to get you to hear them.
Correct. I do have a good casino story.
Yeah.
Like this one time, it was probably
at band camp.
Back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
At band camp.
I think it was like 2000, 2001. I went to Bossier City with some friends, him and his wife. And we had went to the poker or the blackjack table in the back, and his wife sat at this quarter slot right by the entry. And we had a 5 o'clock appointment. This was like 8 o'clock in the morning. We had a 5 o'clock dinner at the Binion Steakhouse reservation. Mm. And so we're at the blackjack. We go in and out. We're going around doing things. We wouldn't eat lunch. She didn't want to go. She wasn't hungry. And so we come back and we go back to the poker room. We're playing poker, yada, yada, yada. But she's still sitting at 4 o'clock on this same machine.
Okay.
She is sat there, and she's actually up like $800.
Okay.
And there was 2 guys that were sitting in the slot machines kind of behind her and just watching her play. And so we're ready to go back, take a shower, get ready to go to Binion's, eat a steak, and we're standing there. It's like 4:00, maybe 10 to 4, something like that. And we sat there till like 4:30, 4:40. And then finally my friend like, come on, we got to go. We got a 5 o'clock reservation. She was like, okay. And she said, I don't want to, but okay. And she cashes out. And she started with $100 and she cashes out like $800. And she'd been there all day. And so she gets up. One of those two guys that are back there watching her walks over.
No.
While we're waiting on the elevator. Or bing, hit the elevator. And he walks up behind her, puts his player card in, puts a $20 bill in, hits max bet. And all you hear is the buzzers and the bells going off.
Damn.
Hits the largest quarter jackpot in Louisiana state history. $14.9 million in quarters.
Oh my God, she was steaming it.
Oh my God. She heard the bells go off, and we knew it was close. And the look on my friend's face, his name, I'll call him Randy, he's passed. He looks over at her, and you get to see the fear in his eyes. Because she swerved down that machine was going to pay her. And we turn around, and sure enough, that guy's like, yeah, he's doing this like that, and he points at her. Oh, and that was the nail in the coffin for him.
Oh my.
And then the next morning, we were teasing her and him, and we went down and bought a bunch of papers because the guy was on the front page of the Bossier City paper. We had them all over the hotel room.
Oh, goodness me.
It was so funny, though. The reality is it wasn't going to pay her.
Yeah, she wasn't aligned with it.
No, it wasn't going to pay her. But I thought it was pretty funny. $14.8 million in quarters.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I didn't realize those machines would actually get up that high.
Yeah, but, this was back before progressive slots, I believe. I don't think they even had progressive slots back then. Maybe they did. I don't know. But it was huge. It was like crazy big.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that the machine slots would pay that amount of money.
Oh, yeah, it was nuts. I want to see if I can find that article. But anyway, so
Wow. Goodness me. Life-changing experience. Huh.
But anyway, so it was a big deal. It was all over the front page of the paper, and we kept giving them a hard time. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. So just to recap, I wanted to share yesterday's adventure because we're going through this same life with you guys. We have human experiences, and that's just another good example of how we navigate the weirdness.
Yeah.
And when it pops up, we just follow the crumb, man, and go with the flow and see what it's about with a curious mindset, not getting frustrated
no fear,
or aggravated,
no emotions.
Trying to really listen to and watch the signs and follow the nudge.
Follow your instinct.
Take the action that you can best take. If a message comes through that you need to go to this place and you're at work, well, you can't obviously leave work, but the minute that you can, pop in there and just see what information might be there. That's and just be open and don't have any insistence on what it must look like or what has to happen. Just kind of stay easy with it and go with the flow because
take it easy, would you?
You never know what the information is or what will pop up for you and be revealed on what you're ready to release and redefine or
I agree.
Let go of.
I think the biggest reward of that is what happens after you get all that cleared out of the way. What happens next? That's kind of the optimism for me.
Yeah, that's what
door does that open?
Right. We're kind of at that stage of, okay, now that we've cleared that.
What's next?
What?
Do I need to go back to the casino? I mean, what's going on?
Right. What amazing things are going to pop up and we're going to get to experience from going through that.
Yeah. Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Well, I feel pretty complete. How do you feel?
I feel good.
All right.
As always.
Well, thank you all for listening today to the Spiritual Grind and putting up with our shenanigans. Don't forget to like, follow, and share. Look us up on the web at www.themerckcenters.org. And you can find us on social media at the Merck Centers.
Don't forget to ring that bell. y'all.
Hey,
for
thank y'all for listening,
notifications.
and have an awesome day.
Love ya.